Hey guys, welcome back to Hands On Channel. Today we have on the bench the bane of my existence, these old-fashioned plunger style grease guns. This is about the third or fourth one I've bought over the years, and it does the same exact thing that every other one that I had that threw away did. You'll use it, you'll leave it laying in your toolbox for a little while, and I guess the summer heat comes along and heats up that oil and grease inside of there and basically turns it into liquid. And hopefully you're seeing right there where it's been dripping out. You can see that green right there, hopefully, where it's been dripping out and collecting in my toolbox. And then you go to pick the thing up and the handle's slimy and the side of it's all slimy, and it makes you wonder how well your grease is working inside of there. And it's just it's a horrible, horrible system. I've looked at some higher end ones. Lincoln makes one, and basically they're all this same design. That's why I haven't pulled the trigger on one. This one here was like 40 or 50 bucks. I don't remember who makes it, but it was supposed to have been a pretty good one at the time I bought it, and I've just hated it ever since. For one, that little tip down there, I can never get that thing to engage the grease zerk. And then if it's in a weird place, like on a, let's say you're doing a drive shaft or something like that, you know, it's almost impossible to get a straight shot in there. So you have to get a little bit of an angle, and you can just never get that guy to seat in there properly without really putting great deal of force on it, which is ridiculous. And before I had the other style that had the long handle, but the problem with that is that you need one hand free to hold the thing on there, and the other hand for pumping it. Well, how are you going to do that when you've got the long handle? So basically I bought this one thinking that, oh, this pistol grip style will be a lot better because I'll be able to hold it on with this one and, you know, pump it in there and get the grease where I need it. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but there's a button on my bench I keep for products like this.
Bullshit detected. Take precautions.
That's what this product is. And to continue to use one is ridiculous, especially once you learn what I learned. I was over at my father-in-law's house a little while back, and he had one of these. This here is called a Lube Shuttle, made in Germany. It says no plunger to pull back, no air gaps, no leaking grease, no wasted time, no mess. And I started looking at this thing, and I'll show you, I'll pull it out in a minute, but you can see here the grease screws up from the bottom and there's no cap over the top of it. And I'm like, well, how does this work? It must just work off of the suction here. And I started kind of wondering if it was going to be enough PSI, but it says right here clearly 4350 PSI is what this thing's capable of producing. So if that's true, you shouldn't have any problem greasing anything on your normal application stuff, your farm equipment, your drive shaft, your universal joints, your front end suspension parts, stuff like that, your lawn mowers, whatever needs grease. Let's check out the back of the box here, and here it tells you how to do it basically. Pretty easy. I'll let you read that if you want. You can pause the video and read that instructions there. It shows you a little bit about the as far as I can see, the proprietary grease. You have to buy their grease to run in this gun. So, and let me just warn you right off the bat, I got this thing as a gift, and I saw how much they cost, and they are not cheap. They're around, just for the gun, it's around 70, 75 bucks or something like that just for the gun. So be prepared for that. But let's pull it out and check it out, see what you get here. That's made in Germany, of course, so probably a good quality. Okay, and that appears to be it. Looks pretty simple, pretty basic. You've got a little cylinder screw on here, but before we do, let's take a look up in there. And it looks as if the tube, the grease tube, and here's a tube of that. I've got the GP200 or the G200 EP multi-purpose grease here. And there's different levels of grease you can buy. Some of it has like 3% moly in it, stuff like that, depending on what you need it for. This is good for, you know, just general purpose around the homestead. But it looks as if this just threads up inside of there. And according to the instructions, you have to push up on this plunger a little bit once you take the cap off to get some of the grease exposed here so that it'll have a chance to suck it up in there. But yeah, it looks like this operates on a suction. Through suction. You've got a plunger there that goes back and forth. And of course the end down here we'll screw the hose on. So, pretty simple. It's all riveted, but it feels pretty well built. I don't think you're going to have any issues with that. It's as good as or better than the one that I just showed you a moment ago. So looks like we screw this on here. And I've got one of these safety lock things to try out, but I'll probably put that on in another video. This is supposed to stop it to where you, ideally you can clip this thing on and then you don't have to hang on to it anymore. It sticks on there instead of having to push it on and hold it on there. We'll see about that. I may give this one a try just out of the box just to see how it goes. I'm just looking at it. It looks like a zinc plated steel. So it's not stainless steel. Just want you to be aware of that. That might be stainless there. I don't know. I can't tell. But probably good enough. So let's get this screwed on. The hose is nice and flexible. I like that. Being German, it'll probably be metric tools. Yeah, it's a little loose on there, but we should be able to snug it up. Doesn't need to be really crazy tight, just snug. Just so it doesn't leak grease out there. So that's basically it. If it works, this will hopefully revolutionize my greasing, because I've always kind of just dreaded greasing anything because I know it's going to be a really messy job and a real PITA to do. So I don't want any of that. So it looks like what we do is we just take this off. And now you can see the grease in there, and according to the instructions, you push up on the plunger a little bit. It's not hard to push at all. And you just get some of that kind of oozing up out of there so that the gun actually has something to kind of grab onto. Hopefully that's enough. I don't know how much to push out. About a 1/4 inch worth there. And now we just screw it down inside of there. And I'm going to push a little more just because I noticed it kind of drew back in. So now let's see if it's all it's cracked up to be. Did I push it in far enough? And you'll notice there's no vent or anything like that. The older ones had a little vent. Okay, I see the little plunger has moved a little, so it's got to be filling up the tube right now. Oh, wow. Wasn't expecting that. It kind of shot out all over the place there, so be aware of that. But yeah, it apparently it's working, no problem. No pumping, no plunger to mess around with. Yeah, I had to pump it up a few times, but no extreme pumping. I don't know. It probably took me 12 to 15 pumps there to get it flowing. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Now, of course, I just got this thing, so I can't do a long-term review on this. But so far, I'm impressed with it. If it works as if they, as they claim, I will throw that other grease gun away or give it away to someone because it's just not worth it to me to mess around with that kind of stuff. Time is precious. You need to maximize your mechanical time so you can do other projects. But yeah, since I already got it on myself, let's check out the grease here. And it feels good. So yeah, about like regular wheel bearing grease, I'd say, or axle grease you'd get in a can. Guys, I'm really impressed with this German grease gun. Again, made by Lube Shuttle. Check it out. I'll let you guys know. I'll do a follow-up review here, after the summer, because I usually do a lot more grease work in the summertime, it seems like. So when I'm in the middle of that in the summertime, I'll do another little follow-up and let you guys know how I'm feeling about that thing. But the idea is, because this thing is working on a suction instead of pressurizing a piston into the bottom of it, it should not sit there and leak out and get your You know, when you lay it in your toolbox like this, when you pick it up, you shouldn't have a puddle of grease underneath it. If it does, I will let you know. Every other grease gun I've ever used has been that way, had a puddle of grease. So, till next time, we'll see you later.